Okay, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something you run into literally every single day, whether you're on campus, at your job, or just scrolling online. These little subtle power plays. You know, the small tricks people use to get an edge. Well, today, we're going to learn how to spot them and how to take back control. Seriously, think about it for a second. You're all excited, telling your friends about a cool weekend trip you took, and the second you're done, someone jumps in with, "Oh, that's nice. I actually just got back from a month backpacking through Europe." It's that feeling, right? That little moment of deflation where you suddenly feel like you're in a competition you never even signed up for. Well, there's a name for that. It's called one-upmanship. And this little sketch here kind of says it all. It's like a social ladder where one person is always trying to climb one step above you. It's not really about sharing an experience, it's about social climbing. And let's be super clear here. One-upmanship is not an accident. No way. It's a calculated move to make themselves look superior. The entire point is to shift the power dynamic in the room, to gain status by kinda sorta putting you down. It's a game, and they've just said you a player without ever asking.
But you know what? One-upmanship is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just one part of a whole family of power tricks. So let's break down 7 of the most common ones you're going to see so you can spot them coming a mile away.
First up, we've got what I call intimidation through confusion. This is when someone starts using super complicated jargon or technical terms they know you don't know, or maybe they just talk really fast. Look, they're not trying to help you understand. They're trying to overwhelm you to make you feel kind of stupid so that you'll just nod and agree to avoid feeling embarrassed. Okay, so from confusion, they move on to pressure. Trick number 2 is all about creating false urgency. Oh, you've definitely seen this one. This special offer expires at midnight, or at work, we need an answer on this right now. They're basically manufacturing stress to rush you into a decision before you have a chance to really think it through, or notice any of the problems with what they're saying. Trick number 3 is controlling the environment. Now, this one's subtle, but it is so powerful. Think about it. Insisting on meeting in their office, making you wait for them, or even just snagging the seat at the head of the table. These are all ways to establish dominance before anyone even says a word. They're setting the stage to make you feel like you're on their turf, putting you on the defensive right from the start. And then, of course, there's the classic name dropping. You know, "Oh, I was just chatting with the dean about that the other day." Or, "Well, my friend who's a director at Google says." What they're doing is borrowing authority. They're trying to make themselves sound more important and connected, hoping that some of that borrowed power will rub off on them in your eyes. Now for a really deceptive one, the bait and switch. So they promise you something amazing, a fantastic project, a specific role, a certain result, just to get you to agree. But once you've committed your time and your energy, surprise, the terms suddenly change. It's a pretty dishonest trick that works because you feel like, "Ugh, I've already put in so much effort, I can't quit now." And here's one for anyone who has ever had to do a group project. Taking credit. You have this brilliant idea, you share it with the group, and suddenly someone else is pitching it to the professor like it was theirs all along. It's straight up theft of your hard work, and it's designed purely to boost their status at your expense. And just like that, we're right back where we started. Oh, that's nothing. Wait till you hear what happened to me. This isn't just them sharing a related story. No, this is about invalidating your story. The goal is to steal the spotlight and make whatever you just shared seem totally insignificant in comparison. Okay, so we've just looked at a whole menu of these tricks, from the really obvious ones to the super subtle. But what's the one thing they all have in common? What's the thread that ties them all together? Well, there's a single unifying pattern behind every single one of these plays. And here it is. This is the secret. The power isn't really in what they do. It's all about how they make you feel. They need you to feel small. They need you to feel rushed or confused or inferior. Why? Because when you're feeling those things, you are way less likely to question them, to challenge them, or even to think clearly. Your emotional state, that's the key that unlocks their power. So if this whole game is about controlling your feelings, how in the world do you protect yourself? Well, you can't control them, but you can absolutely control your own response. So let's open up your defense toolkit. These are your new go-to moves. First, and this is the most important one, slow down. This is your ultimate weapon against that fake urgency. A simple, I need some time to think about this, is a perfect defense. Second, ask questions. If someone's trying to confuse you with jargon, make them do the work. Can you explain that in simpler terms? Puts the ball back in their court.
Next, verify their claims. Don't just believe something because they sound confident. Set clear boundaries. A simple, "that approach doesn't really work for me," is huge. And if you feel safe enough, you can even call out the behavior directly. "I feel like you're trying to rush me here." And finally, never forget you have the ultimate power, the power to just walk away from the whole situation. All right, now that we know how to defend ourselves, let's look at the final piece of this puzzle. Why do people even use these tricks in the first place? Because understanding their motivation, well, that's your secret weapon for not taking any of this personally. So here's the great paradox in all of this. These power plays, they are not a sign of strength. They are a broadcast of weakness. People use these tricks because deep down they feel insecure and have this constant need to prove their own worth. They do it because, hey, at some point in their life, it probably works for them. Or maybe they just never learned healthier, better ways to connect with people and earn real respect. This right here is the most important thing to remember. When someone tries to one-up you or make you feel small, it is not, I repeat, not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their own insecurity. It's about their internal struggle, not about your worth. And that brings us to the biggest takeaway from all of this. See, these power plays are just like a magic trick. They only work if the audience doesn't know how they're done. The moment you can name the game, the second you think, that's false urgency, or, oh, he's one-upping me again, the entire illusion just shatters. Recognition is your protection. So I'm going to leave you with this thought. These tricks are everywhere, on campus, at work, all over pop culture. But they need your ignorance to work. Now that you can see the game, now that you understand the rules, you're not just a player anymore. You're an observer who can choose not to play at all. And that right there is where the real power lies.